These ukuleles were listed as no repair. Challenge accepted. Now, before anybody asks in the comments what the heck was that hair doing on Arne's face, every once in a while I'll jump on stage in a musical theater production. At the time that the repair video for the ukulele was recorded, I was playing Neville Craven in The Secret Garden.
Standing, waiting, I think of her. I think of her.
In fact, what you're listening to in the background right now is a duet called Lily's Eyes that I sang with my brother Archie.
She lingers on.
Buckle up for safety as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
So with this first ukulele, what I need to do is attach the neck back to the body. And I could just glue it and clamp it and probably have something about as strong as it was originally, but I'm thinking that its original strength wasn't good enough. So what I'm gonna try here is, if you look inside here, you can see way down under here, and it probably won't focus down there, there's a block in here, and that just provides strength to this part of the body of the ukulele where this glues to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill through it at an angle, and then when I glue the neck onto here, in addition to that, I'm going to add a screw that will run down diagonally. It will add strength to what's already here, and hopefully make an instrument that'll last for a couple of years. Doing it like this won't work because my impact driver itself won't get in there. So here's my solution. I don't have a really long bit, but what I do have is this long extension. What this extension will allow me to do is get in there at a suitable angle in such a way that my tool itself doesn't impede with the path that I want to drill. That will work. Yes, the hole came through right there. You can see it just under that flap. Once I get it glued and clamped and perfectly positioned, then I can run the drill bit back in again, because I need to drill into this piece here. If I try and run a screw into this without pre-drilling, I'll split it, and I don't want to risk that. And just kind of temporarily holding this in place here, you can see the angle that my screw will go in and about how deep I'd like it to go. So now what I have to do, because I will essentially be drilling blind and I will have no way to know when to stop, I have to build or make some kind of depth stop guide to prevent me from going too deep. Like, think small bushing. I just need to find the material. Small piece of tubing might work as well. Like a tiny piece of copper tubing. And short of that, this old hard tubing that came out of the back of the toilet will also do the job. Yeah, that'll actually work. I may have to throw a piece of tape around here or something just to keep it from sliding off when I point the nose of the drill bit down. But yeah, that'll work. So this will act like a stop, and it won't allow the drill bit to go any deeper than this. I'm trying to figure out how to get a good angle on this to glue it. Can be a little tricky. So be fiddling around here a little bit, but I will start with laying down a whole bunch of glue here and getting some underneath this little flap of veneer, although there's a whole bunch of it missing here too. I'll never be able to finish that so you don't notice it, but maybe I can do something with it. Try and will make a mess, and then I will clean it up again. I don't know how it's going to have to go. Call that step one. Got to get some downward pressure on here as well. But that should hold it in place while I can clean up some of this excess glue. My hope is to be able to add the screw while things are still wet. But that might not be possible, depending how things end up getting clamped. And while the fretboard isn't finished very nicely, I'd like to have something protect that as well. Look how much more squish I got out of that. That is actually clamped very well. Just have to be careful not to have it all come apart on me before it's dry. Oh, it's not bad. We might be able to get a workable instrument out of this yet. Our no repair ukulele might actually end up being repaired, because I've got that clamped very securely now. Oh yeah, like look at, I've even got glue coming out the pre-drilled hole. The glue has gone everywhere it needs to. Yeah, I think I can go in and tap that hole now with this contraption. You know, I'll say that's one of the things that I do love about my job is the variety. Nowhere on my job description did it say luthier, and did I ever think I would be repairing ukuleles, but I've done a few of them now. I'm feeling very Gilbert and Sullivan right now. Hit the stop, so I can come back out. Let me check the back side. I did not puncture or pierce or come out anywhere I wasn't supposed to. So let us switch you up. Now, let me look at the length of this. So the drill bit depth and the screw length are very close to the same. It's exactly what I need.
know, that ought to work perfectly.
If you look down inside there, you can see the screw that we just put in. And I did not hear any splintering at all. So this is now glued and clamped back into position. And with the addition of that screw down in there, I can't see how this thing isn't much stronger than it was originally. So I'll just let that sit in the clamp for a couple hours and come back and see how we're doing. Neck is on there very nicely, so I just have to figure out something to protect and strengthen this layer of veneer, I guess. But I think we're going to have a usable instrument out of this again, which means I can remove the pieces of no repair tape on it. This ukulele is in very rough shape, and yeah, may not be salvageable beyond keep it in the trunk of your car for camping or something, but we'll see. I can get creative. One will definitely be a one step at a time kind of thing, so I will start by gluing this seam. All right, that's our first step. I've glued the seams up here and down here, and a little bit down here, a little bit over here as well. Now this particular instrument is so busted up in so many different ways that it's going to take some gluing and clamping in multiple directions in multiple sessions to get this thing to hold together. So I started with the most obvious, and once that dried, I flipped it over, and I've got this other big crack on the other side to try and deal with now. It's pretty clear here with the material missing that it's more than just putting it back together again. I'm going to have to try and rebuild it somehow. I think before I glue that face down, I'm going to work on this big crack that's in the end of the instrument. Get some glue down, work it down in there, and then glue this together as best as possible. The idea being that slowly and one step at a time, I'm trying to restore some structural integrity to the instrument. At this point, while I've got glue in that crack and I've got them pulled together tight with the tape, I'm just trying to clamp it a little bit to get it into the right shape. Pretty much done as much as I can at this step, so now I'm just going to let it dry overnight, and once I do that I will try and glue this back face around these areas where it's split apart
yeah, I'll try and glue them together and see if I can get that to hold somehow. Okay, it's had overnight to dry. It's actually pretty solid. It's starting to gain some integrity, but I've got this nasty edge right here, and you can see there's chunks of it missing. So what I'm going to try and do is glue it from the back side. If you look down in there, you can see glue. I've just kind of poured some in there, and I am just tilting it a little bit to try and get it to work its way around the valley in there, and eventually I'll get it to come out of the crack. There it is. So now I will clamp that together and let that dry. Just tilting it a little bit here so that the glue stays down in the valley where I want it to. Okay, I've let that dry overnight, and now I'm trying to do something about the front. I've actually taken some metal duct tape and I have created a bit of a curb and almost like a mold, and I've filled it with epoxy, and that will be strong. It doesn't look the best, but it is what it is. This is not going to be a pretty instrument anymore, but what it will do is give it a strong edge, and the epoxy will prevent it from chipping.
While the other one looks good, as well as now will play, I've accepted that this one here, you'll never not be able to tell that it hasn't been extensively repaired. And we're just gonna have to live with that.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. See you next time.